Well, thank you guys for having me. My goal today is to help put you to sleep. So if you guys are sleeping by the end of this presentation, I've done my job. So today we're going to talk about powering down your brain to fall asleep. I am a master's social worker. I got my master's at Augsburg College in Minnesota, the Twin Cities. That's where I was born and raised. So I just want to point out this quote really quick before I introduce myself, but I love this because it says, "When I'm worried and cannot sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep." So I liked that because today we're going to talk about reframing our thoughts and trying to figure out how to kind of calm down and not worry so much so we can get to sleep. And in this day and age, how wonderful would that be with everything going on? How could we find peace in order to go to sleep? So I like this, count my blessings instead of sheep. This is just a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm from the Twin Cities. I graduated from Blaine High School. Go Bengals. This is a picture of my husband and I and our two puppies. We have two huskies and they are just very energetic. I was a swimmer. I love swim team. I do coach a little bit here in town, and I just really love the water and being out there. I just love outdoors, so I like hiking in the mountains, hiking wherever I can be. Your Foundation Trail in Black River Falls is just wonderful. I love going on there. I love sports. Baseball is my favorite. I'm a big Twins fan, but my husband cheers for the Cubs, so I also cheer for the Cubs. Okay, good. I thought I was going to get some slack for that because everyone here are, Brewers fans. But congratulations, Brewers, you guys got in, right? Yep. So that's exciting. Baseball. I just love baseball and being active. I did put a picture of sleeping on here because I am a sleep addict. I love sleeping, but I also struggle with sleep. I struggle with falling asleep. I struggle with anxieties and worries that prevent me from sleeping. I struggle with getting up in the morning, all that fun stuff. I'm a sleep addict, I guess. That can be good and bad. I did put a disclaimer here just really briefly. I am an employee of the Crohn Clinic. However, the information might not be reflective of the Crohn Clinic as a whole. I have to put that in there. Always seek medical advice for any sleep disorders or mental health issues that are coming up. Kind of have to say that too. And then I don't have any monetary gain for any of the recommendations or tools that I'm putting out here. So no affiliations there at all. So that's just a little bit about me. So this presentation is going to be, we're going to talk about the sleep basics. What are they? We've all been sleeping our entire lives, right? So we're all kind of sleep experts for our own selves, but we need a little bit of help. So we're going to talk about sleep basics. We're going to talk about another acronym, CBT, and what that is, what that stands for, how we do it, how we get it. And then I'm going to give you guys some tools that we can use to hopefully help put you to sleep. And then I'll kind of open it up if we have time for questions. I'm going to try to get out of here about 45 minutes so we can open up and you guys can kind of do your thing too, okay? If you guys have any questions throughout the presentation, go ahead and raise your hand and I'll try my best to answer them. I might say we'll get to that later, but very flexible, so go ahead and bring on the questions. So let's talk about some sleep basics. We have these here, and these are the things that we need in general for a good night's sleep. So my biggest thing is hydrate with water. Not so much with the coffee, not so much with pop, not so much with alcohol. Or a glass of wine, it helps me relax, it helps me sleep better. Actually, that's a myth. That's a sleep myth. Alcohol does not help you fall asleep better. So that's just my little tidbit. A lot of people I hear say, oh, water's just so, I don't like water, I don't like the taste of water. Well, we're not drinking water for the taste of water. To be blunt, we're drinking water to hydrate ourselves and to make sure that our body is nourished and is fulfilled with the water that we expel every day. We need water. Our body is made up mostly of water. So I very highly recommend water. Whether we like drinking it or not, do it. All right, it will help with sleep. It will help with just your overall mental health and well-being. Moderate exercise throughout the day. This can be just, do a couple leg lifts right here while you're sitting down, do a couple arm stretches. This can be going for a walk in the nice weather. This can be getting on a bike, all the way to, weightlifting, playing sports, things like that. You got to get out and just move your body. If we're not moving our body, we're kind of always in a constant state of relaxing. We need to move our body in order to get, some good sleep. We need to expend some energy. Eat a well-balanced diet. I'm not going to go into this too much, but we need to be eating in order for our body to be functioning. That goes for sleep as well. And then have a healthy sleep atmosphere. I want to talk about this one just a little bit more than I talked about the other ones. What is a healthy sleep atmosphere?
Dark room.
Dark room?
Quiet.
Quiet?
No TV.
No TV. You guys have been to a sleep presentation before, haven't you? Cool temperatures? Yep. Good mattress? Yep. Wow, you guys are experts. Come on up. Let's do this. So yes, have a healthy sleep atmosphere. I actually have to credit Dr. Lane for this because back when I first moved here, I went to his presentation, and gosh, he's good. I really appreciate working with him and everything he's taught me about sleep too. So yeah, not having electronics in your room. Cell phones are big. They're kind of right in our face these days. Getting those away. I actually recommend having those cell phones not on the nightstand next to you, but like across the room, because those, cell phones emit the electrons. They have those rays coming at us. If you're able to have the dark shades, you can have the light shades too, because that can help with waking up in the morning. That natural sunlight coming in can be a good healthy sleep atmosphere, because then it wakes your circadian rhythm and yourself up for the morning, so that kind of prevents you from sleeping in. I've tried that. My body just doesn't, I just can't wake up in the morning. So I struggle with this too. What else is a healthy sleep atmosphere? I liked the cool temperatures. Sometimes people need warmer temperatures. It's different for everybody, but you typically want that a little bit cooler temperature so that your body can self-regulate. Pillows, having a good pillow. Some people like the flat ones, some people like the fluffy ones, right? Right now I'm having like 5 pillows everywhere so I can lean on and, all that fun stuff. So all of that kind of constitute a healthy sleep atmosphere. Sometimes, couples sleeping together, sometimes that can help with your healthy sleep atmosphere. Sometimes it can't. So sometimes people sleep in the same room, but 2 separate beds. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. There's no shame in that. That's wonderful because you are both getting good, healthy sleep, and you can still stay together. And you're not crabby in order because you didn't have a good sleep because he's kicking you or she's, whatever. Whatever works for you to have a healthy sleep atmosphere, we got to get that going and talk with your provider and other people in your life to make sure that healthy sleep atmosphere is conducive to a good night's sleep. Any other thoughts on these sleep basics?
Same bedtime every night.
Same bedtime can be very helpful, yep. Same awake time. Sometimes with our busy schedules, that's not exactly feasible, but yes, that's a wonderful goal to have for yourself. I struggle with the same wake-up time because sometimes I need to be up earlier, or I can sleep in on a Saturday, or different things, so that sometimes messes me up, but it would be ideal if they were similar. Yep. Very good point. All right, so this is the sleep basics, but what I really want to talk to you today about is CBT. So CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy. So cognitive is your mind, behavior is what we're doing, and therapy is just, talking about it, figuring it out, fixing it, right? Cognitive behavioral therapy is a solution-focused, short-term therapy. It's not meant to be longer than about 6 to 8 weeks, meeting with a therapist. It was founded by American psychiatrist Dr. Beck. Him and his daughter have done wonderful, wonderful work with CBT, and they have a lot of good resources if you Google Beck or CBT. So that's kind of in a nutshell what CBT is. CBT can also be self-taught, self-worked, and that can be throughout your life. When we have a new problem or a new issue, we can go back around and use CBT again, because again, it's a solution-focused short-term therapy. So if we have another issue come up, great, we can do CBT again. So CBT is important for sleep because sometimes, a lot of times, actually I would argue, when we are trying to sleep, our minds won't shut down. Can I get an amen? So CBT is important for sleep because CBT really targets our thoughts. It's cognitive, it's in our brain, it's our thoughts. And it kind of drives how we behave. So it's very important for sleep. Also because sometimes sleep is impacted by mental illness such as depression, anxiety, insomnia, psychosis, just a lot of different, just general everyday worries and stress can really impact sleep. And that's what CBT kind of targets, are those mental health symptoms of depression and anxiety, and targets the stress of everyday living. Especially in this day and age when we're constantly getting that news report or that, issue going on, finances we're struggling with. Sleep is important, and we need to be able to get in the mindset of being able to have a good night's sleep. So that's why CBT is important for sleep. All right, how can we get it? This elusive CBT, all right, you've told me about it. You talked about this Dr. Beck guy. How do I get it? What do I do with this, right? So we are going to go through what's called the CBT triangle in order to help reframe our thoughts. So on the sheet that I passed out to you, it has area for notes, and then at the bottom there are 2 triangles. We're going to spend hopefully a little bit on this because this is what CBT is. This is what it is. This is the cognitive triangle. So we have thoughts at the top. So our thoughts are what we think about, and they are automatic. Right now you're having a ton of thoughts right now. What is this girl talking about? Oh, it's a beautiful day. I want to go somewhere else. My tummy's growling, right? We're having thoughts. Oh my gosh, what is she saying? I don't get this. She's talking too fast. We're having thoughts, right? I'm up here thinking, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. You guys are all falling asleep. Hey, that's my goal. I've done it. Okay, so we have thoughts. I'm going to go through this and give an example. So an example of this for sleep might be, oh geez, I was supposed to be asleep 30 minutes ago and I'm still not asleep, right? What's going on? All of a sudden it's an hour after and oh geez, I'm never going to get to sleep, right? Those are some thoughts we have about sleep, right? All right, so thoughts, we're going to come down here to feelings. Thoughts evoke feelings in our body. When we have a thought, we feel something, right? So when you have that sleep thought of, oh my gosh, I was supposed to be asleep an hour ago, what feeling does that bring about? Anxiety, frustration, worry, right? It doesn't bring about more sleep. It doesn't bring about calmness or anything, right? It's the worry, the anxiety. So we bring about feelings, right? And then we go over here to behavior. What happens? I can't sleep. I was supposed to sleep an hour ago. I'm worried. I'm anxious. Oh, this isn't working. I need to get to sleep. I'm feeling this way. What's my behavior?
You're not sleeping.
You're not sleeping. You're sitting in bed, tossing and turning, thinking a bunch of thoughts, right? So that's not helping us sleep. What else can we think to help our bodies calm down, to help us reframe our well-being in that moment? Well, yeah, I was supposed to sleep an hour ago, but at least it's not 2 a.m. It's only 11 now. I can go to sleep. I can do this. So we reframed that thought. What do you start to feel when you start to say, I can do this, at least it's not 2 a.m. I got this, I can go to sleep. What do you start to feel?
Calmer.
A little bit calmer. You still might be worried and anxious, but now you're starting to feel a little bit calm, right? So our feelings changed. What happens to our behaviors then? You start to relax.
Yes.
Your blood pressure might go down. I'm not as anxious. Okay, I take a deep breath. That can help. So you start to change your behaviors by changing your thought patterns. Okay? Boom. We just did CBT. Does that kind of make sense? We're going to go through that a couple more times, but the The goal here in CBT is to change the thought pattern, to reframe that thought so that we can change our feelings and ultimately get a good night's sleep, which is our behavior. Let's say we're trying to go to sleep, but we just found out some stressful news, like Laura called me yesterday and say, hey, you're doing this sleep presentation tomorrow. Well, wait a second. I haven't had time to prepare. No, I'm just kidding. Laura gave me ample time to prepare, but what if, right? Okay, so I'm thinking, well, I gotta get up in the morning. I gotta go talk in front of people. I haven't had time to prepare, right? So I'm worried about what's gonna happen the next day. So my feelings are, I'm nervous, I'm unsettled, I don't have anything together, I'm not prepared. I start to be like, oh, I'm going to be such a failure, right? Those are my feelings. Oh, wait a second, those are my thoughts, right? So my feelings are worry, anxious, not feeling prepared as a thought. But there's a lot of guilt, frustration. Why didn't Laura call me sooner? I mean, come on now, right? Yeah, thanks. So those are my feelings. I might start to get a little angry, like, oh, I don't want to do this. So I'm laying in bed thinking all this stuff, and I'm not sleeping. That's not helping me, because then I come today and I have bags under my eyes, and I'm crabby, grumpy, and I'm not sleeping that night. So what we want to do is change those thoughts. Hey, Laura called me. This is about sleep. I know about sleep. I kind of went to school for this. I do this every day. I got this. I don't really need to prepare a whole lot. I think I can do this. I start to feel a little bit better. I'm still super nervous, but I'm okay for that moment because I know that I need to get sleep. And then my behavior is I sleep. So let's try another reframe. Same situation. My thought is, well, yeah, I'm nervous, I'm worried. This is super last minute, but I can't do anything about it right now because it's 2 in the morning, I need to sleep, and the clinic's closed, and I'm not going to get any work done anyway, so why lay up worried about it? So I'm going to get to sleep now, but I'm going to quick jot a couple notes down. Well, okay, that's a behavior, right? See, I caught myself. So I can't do anything about this right now. So my feeling is, okay, I can't do anything about this right now. I'm a little bit more confident. My behavior is I'm going to jot down a couple things that I need to remember that my mind's worried about right now. I'm going to jot those down, put them aside, and I'm going to go to sleep. So it's a different way of reframing too, is sometimes in the middle of the night you're thinking about something that you need to do tomorrow, but you can't do anything about it right now. You're in your pajamas. You're not going to go grocery shopping. Nobody's awake. So write it down and then go to sleep. Sounds super easy, doesn't it? I wish it worked like that. But we got to keep doing this triangle. We can go through this triangle as many times as we want to. The goal is to start to reduce the anxious, worried, unpleasant feelings so that we can ultimately get to sleep. 2 hours of sleep is better than no hours of sleep. 4 hours of sleep is better than 2. So if I can stop the worry wherever I'm at by reframing my thoughts, then at least I can get a little bit more sleep than when I was thinking and feeling and behaving worried or restless or what have you. All right, let's do this triangle one more time. Does anybody have an example of a thought that might disrupt their sleep that we already haven't covered? Weather. Good one. So what might you be thinking about the weather?
Well, if it's snowing and you want to go somewhere and they're predicting 6 to 8 inches of snow, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm supposed to go.
Yep. They said it's supposed to snow. We're getting a blizzard tomorrow. I'm supposed to go here. I want to go here. This is exciting. I'd like to get out of my house, but I'm not going to be able to because it's cold. It's, all this stuff that you're thinking about. Oh my gosh. 8 inches, I can't do that, right? So that's your thought. What are you feeling? Anger, frustration, and oh, that's a good one. And all the work that I'm going to have to do, right? So now you're feeling overwhelmed because on top of leaving the house and getting somewhere, I got to do work to get there. So what's your behavior?
Wide awake.
Wide awake. Wide awake. You might be checking the weather report, tossing and turning, looking out the window to see if it's snowing or not. All right, so I'm going to pick on you because you volunteered. What can be a reframed thought for worrying about the weather?
Then I don't have to go.
Then I don't have to go.
You can't do anything about it, Sal.
Can't do anything about the weather. What a thought. I can't do anything about the weather. How do you start feeling there? I heard some laughter. That's a feeling, right? Kind of happy. Yeah. Well, gosh darn it, Jessica, I can't do anything about the weather either. You're kind of feeling silly because you're thinking you can control the weather or, control some aspect of the weather, right? And then what do? Go to sleep. You laugh about it. You put down the phone. You don't check the weather as much. You take a deep breath. I can't do anything about this, so I'm going to go to sleep. I love this triangle. I love this triangle. We do this triangle, boom, like that, 100 times a day, if not more. We just need to slow it down sometimes and stop some of those negative thoughts. And we need to reframe it and rework it. So some of the patterns that I noticed while we were talking about this, for all three of those examples that we gave, a lot of our feelings were worry, anxious, so that anxiety, that worry, that prevents us from sleeping. We can't sleep if our bodies are in that heightened state of worry. And we'll get to that in a moment because we're going to do some tools on how to calm our body down for the worry. This is a thought record, and this is what can help power through this triangle. The first column says situation. That's right in the middle. That's the event. That's what's going on right now. I can't sleep. That's the situation. You want to write down what time it is. You want to write down why you can't sleep, what's going on. You want to write down the event. Who else is there? I'm alone. My partner keeps kicking me. My dog is sleeping in bed and is snoring. No, nobody has that? Just me? All right, so that's the event right in the middle of the triangle. It's the column one, the situation. The second column is your mood. So this one kind of does it a little bit backwards. It goes to feeling. What's your mood first? That's okay. You can either jot down your mood and write down how you're feeling, or you can skip to column number 3, which is your automatic thoughts. The first thought you have is automatic. We don't have control over that. It just comes. Okay, so automatic thought are images. Sometimes we think in images. So you jot those down. And then you can go back to column 2 and write down your feelings. How's your mood at that point? Then the fun part is columns 4 and 5, which is kind of what we did, is the evidence that supports the hot thought or that initial automatic thought. Columns 4 and 5, you want to write down the evidence that supports that automatic thought in column 3 or doesn't support it. So if we're going with the weather, the automatic thought is, well, I'm not going to be able to go. What's evidence that supports that? Last time it snowed this much, I was stuck in my house for 2 days until someone came and plowed me out. That's evidence to support I'm not going to be able to go to that event because of the weather. In column number 5, what's evidence that does not support the hot thought?
Can't control it.
Can't control it. I can't control this. Actually, that only happened one time, where I was stuck in my driveway for a couple of days until someone plowed me out. I was actually last year able to get out of this much snow 4 times, and only the one time I got stuck. So my chances are pretty good. So that's evidence that does not support that automatic thought of I'm going to get stuck, I'm not going to be able to go. I can do this. You're kind of playing detective here with this triangle. Is what is supporting that thought and what isn't supporting that thought? Why is that thought helpful and why isn't it helpful? I like this question and you might want to jot it down. Is this thought helpful in this moment? Is this thought helpful in this moment? For an example, right now I might be feeling anxious, worried because I'm giving this presentation and speaking makes me nervous. It's a normal response, but is that thought helpful for me to have in my mind right now? It could be. I can take a deep breath. I know that I get nervous, But right now, worrying about that thought is just going to make me think about that thought and that worry, and then I'm going to run out the door, right? I need to focus on these thoughts and what knowledge I have so that I can be here and be in the moment. So is this thought helpful in this moment? In that moment, when you are in bed, PJs on, all comfy, and the snow's coming down, this thought isn't helpful because you can't do anything about it. If you do not like that sense of not having control over the weather, jot it down. That's one of the tools that we're going to get to here. Jot it down. Have a notebook right by your bed. All right, I'm going to sit up. I'm going to jot this down. I'm worried about the weather and I can't control it and that makes me nervous. But I'm going to jot it down and I'm going to put it away because right now I can't control it. I'm going to put it away and I'll worry about the weather later. You wake up the next morning and it didn't even snow. What were you worrying for? So write it down. Get rid of that thought because it's not helpful in this moment. You can't control the weather, nor a lot of other thoughts and worries in the middle of the night because you're in your PJs, no one else is awake, go to sleep. So the last two columns on this page, I just want to briefly touch because I feel like we hashed out the triangle here, but column 6 is alternative or balanced thought, so that's the reframe. Let's do this again. What's a better thought for me to have right now? And then rate your moods again. The same moods that you had in column 2, are they still there after you have that reframe triangle? Sometimes they're not. Sometimes the anxiety is still there, but it's decreased in percentage. So recording information, I'm going to touch on this just really briefly. I did hand out a sleep log. A lot of doctors want this sleep log before we go in for a sleep study or a CPAP, evaluation, or even to do some cognitive behavioral therapy with a therapist. Recording your information, whether it be your thoughts or your sleep patterns, can be very important. When you do this, it is important to log this data, log your sleep for at least 2 weeks, because not every night is the same. We might think that we get horrible sleep every single night, but if we actually sat down the next morning and logged our sleep, we would find that we actually have some pretty good nights of sleep. We just think about that one horrible night and just blanket it over our entire sleep pattern. So we catastrophize that one bad sleep night over everything. And really, we're actually sleeping pretty good. All right, so tools. This is the last bit of my presentation here, and then I'll let you guys have some fun of your own. So tracking is important. I gave you 2 tools to track, the thought record and the sleep log. Constructive worrying. We've kind of already talked about this, but writing it down. If you have a worry that is preventing you from sleeping, get out that notepad. I'm worried about this. Well, this is what I can do tomorrow. Or you know what, I don't have a solution right now, but I'll put it on my list of things to do tomorrow. I don't know if anybody else keeps a list of things they need to do, and it gets really long. Or maybe someone else that has a list for them to do. But constructive worrying, write down the worry and then write down a potential solution that you can look at tomorrow. And if you don't have a solution, okay, I'm going to think about this more tomorrow. I'm going to think about this more when this comes up. Sometimes just writing down the worry is a constructive way to worry because we're writing it down, we're getting it out of our head and on paper. Leaving the bedroom. Sometimes with toddlers, we're like, go in your bedroom and once you lay down, you're there, you're done. And that's kind of stuck with us our entire lives. Once I'm in bed, I gotta stay there. I can't get up unless I need to use the bathroom or get a drink of water. You can leave the bedroom. If it's 1 in the morning and you haven't slept yet, get out of bed. Go vacuum or tidy up the kitchen or read a book. Yep. Get out of the bedroom for a little while. It might take 30 minutes and then you're like, oh geez, I'm tired. All right, I'm gonna go to bed. And then you start yawning, yep. And then you can go to bed. So leave the bedroom is just fine to do if you are awake. What good is laying around, rolling around? All right, get up, be productive for a little bit. I'm not saying don't sleep the rest of the night, but try it for 30 minutes. Try it for an hour. Leave the bedroom, do something. Maybe that something is calming. Maybe you go and you do a meditation or a prayer. Maybe you go out and you get a glass of water and that helps. Leave the bedroom. Cognitive distraction. So this is a tool that we can use that really targets our thoughts, but in a different way. So really briefly, this can be a meditation where you are distracting your thoughts, because I'm going for worry, 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 but I need to distract myself from the worry, so I'm going to do a meditation. Or I'm going to read my Bible and I'm going to pray. Cognitive distraction can also be, hey, I read a cool book the other day, and I want to know what happens after they say the end. So I'm going to make up my own story. That can be a form of cognitive distraction. Or I didn't like the way that movie ended. I'm going to make my own ending. I would have liked it to go this way, and then all of a sudden you're not worrying anymore. You're kind of falling asleep in your own fantasy. The point is you are distracting yourself from those thoughts of worry. Another thing you could do is read a book. Another thing you could do is count sheep. You're distracting yourself from the worry. You can count your blessings or gratitude. Wow, today was a really stressful day, but I am grateful because this. And then you're not thinking about the worry anymore. It's another really good cognitive distraction is gratitude. Acceptance, I did write acceptance down here because sometimes it's just, hey, I'm awake. That's not a bad thing. I'm awake. It's okay that I'm awake right now. What can I do with my awakeness?
I think so many times, you hear on TV you're supposed to get X amount of hours of sleep. And that in itself gives you anxiety because you're in bed rolling around and it's like, okay, now if I get up at my normal time, I'm only going to have this little bit of sleep. So is it okay to have chunks of sleep rather than a long period of sleep?
That's a good question, and it's very individual based on your needs. Getting 6 hours of sleep is much better than, getting no hours of sleep. For you, you might need 10 hours of sleep. I only need 8 hours of sleep. You might only need 6 hours of sleep.
But is that 8 hours together? I mean, when you get older, how many people our age here have 8 hours of sleep? I bet half
right
of
in a
us
clump.
don't.
Yep.
Because we're getting up no matter if you quit drinking at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You're going to be getting up to go to the bathroom several times during the night.
Yep.
Most of the time you don't just go back to sleep.
Right. So I would say talk with your doctor about that, but to answer the, chunks, you don't, do what is best for you. If taking a nap during the day fits with your schedule and you feel rejuvenated, go for it. If you need 4 hours of sleep here, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're doing something and then you get 4 more hours of sleep, do it. If you find that you only need 6 hours of sleep, great.
So as long as you you're getting enough.
Yep, it's very individualized.
Along with the same point that if you're rolling around and in bed, are you not getting some rest that counts toward your sleep or something? I mean,
yeah, that's a good question. When you are rolling around in bed and you are worried you are not sleeping, you're not really resting either. You want to make sure that time is relaxing for you, and that might count towards it, but our brains need that shutdown sleep. So that wouldn't count as sleep time, that would be more restless sleep. So the point is, don't worry about what you're doing in comparison to what they're saying on TV or this or that, but try and get that quality sleep that is helpful for you. If it's 8 hours continuous, great. If it's 8 hours broken up, you got to do what's best for you and your mood, and it's all about accepting it. This might work for my best friend, but it does not work for me. And that's okay. We're all very different. Moving on, the mental wind down period, and this is the last one and I'm done. I really like this mantra, I guess. The book Unlimited has this as an example of something that you can kind of meditate on or kind of get into the mindset of when you're going to sleep. So I am in bed right now. I want to sleep well. I want my body to relax and rejuvenate. I want to reset myself emotionally and physically. I want to wake up feeling energized and eager for my day. By doing this, by saying this to yourself, thinking this to yourself, you are clearly setting your intentions for that night. You are clearly stating, I am going to bed now. I want to sleep well. I want my body to relax and rejuvenate. I want to reset myself emotionally and physically. I want to wake up feeling energized and eager for my day. You are clearly setting the intentions for what you are doing. And then as you go through the night, if this helps and you're zonked out, great. Read this a couple times to yourself. If you're not finding yourself zonking out and going to sleep right away, read it a couple times. You might need to do that. If you find yourself waking up in the middle of the night, it's okay that I woke up. I am grateful that I'm alive and I'm well right now. I'm going to get a glass of nice cool water. And then I'm going to lay back in bed and I'm gonna go to sleep again. How lucky am I to get to go to sleep twice in one night? You turn these situations into positive intentions for yourself. I love this mental wind down period because it's positive, it's encouraging, it's clearly stated that I want to be relaxed. I want to wake up eager and rejuvenated. It doesn't have to be these words. If you don't like one of these words or sentences, you can change it, but find something that works for you and your brain and your body to kind of get that intention. Repeat this to yourself. Sometimes I need to repeat this to myself a couple times throughout the night. Sometimes it just takes one and I'm done. I'm asleep. Sometimes your mental wind down period is not saying this to yourself, but it's listening to a meditation and you're breathing. So on your computer or on the phone, you can play a meditation. I know that's counterintuitive or whatever to what I said earlier about not having the cell phones or the electronics on while you're trying to sleep. But sometimes it can be very helpful having a CD play a meditation or a kind of mantra to help you get to sleep. Just breathe.